Top 10 Things to Do in Kanchanaburi, Thailand. Situated in the west of Thailand, the Kwai Noi and Kwai Ye rivers converge in Kanchanaburi. It is a scenic place with lots of lovely natural areas located in and around the city. While the nearby mountains, waterfalls and national parks are what attract many visitors to the area, just as many come to see the Death Railway and the numerous historic tourist attractions around town. With all the things to do in Kanchanaburi on offer, it will delight nature lovers and history aficionados and remains a fascinating place to visit. 10. Tham Kra Se Bridge. Part of the Thailand-Burma Railway, this wooden trestle bridge that looks as if it is about to fall apart at any moment is located at one of the most scenic parts of the railway line. While it is indeed as old as it looks, it is very well looked after and is one of the most popular tourist attraction in Kanchanaburi. The train stop of the same name is a perfect place to get off at and take in the wonderful views of the river and surrounding countryside. After having stopped off for a bite to eat and to take in the view, head to the nearby Ampho Sayok Cave, which is very atmospheric and houses a delightful Buddha statue. 9. Wat Tham Sua. Also known as the Tiger Cave Temple, this wonderful monastery lies on top of a hill and the views from its summit are stunning. While the panoramas on show definitely make the climb worth it, it is the enormous golden statue of the Buddha which is the undoubted highlight. Gorgeous to behold, the statue and chedi that protect its tower above, and the adjacent monastery after which the site is named, is just as beautiful for the fantastic architecture on display. A very impressive place, the temple lies around 14 kilometers from Kanchanaburi and is definitely worth visiting. 8. Chungkai War Cemetery. Once the site of one of the largest prisoner of war camps in the area, Chungkai War Cemetery is now the location at which many of these victims are buried. A moving place to visit, well-maintained graves stretch before you and it is a sobering experience to witness the last resting place of so many victims of war. A peaceful spot, the war cemetery is pleasant to walk around and the rows of graves really highlight just how wasteful and tragic war is. 7. Sayok National Park. Located around 100 kilometers from Kanchanaburi, Sayok National Park is a lovely place full of waterfalls, caves, and wildlife. The park is very mountainous and much of it is coated in dense forest, which hides such a rich array of fauna and flora. A very popular place to visit, the Kwai River runs through it and there are loads of great trails that twist their way through the forest. With Sayok Yai Waterfall and the huge Tham Lawa Cave on offer, this national park will delight nature lovers with all the amazing scenery. 6. Hellfire Pass. Built using forced labor during the Second World War, Hellfire Pass is so named because it was the hardest part of the railway line to build. It cut through solid rock and many of the slaves and prisoners lost their lives in the process. It is a good idea to make a day trip out of it as there is a great museum on hand that documents the history and tragedies surrounding the pass. After visiting the museum, there is a wonderful path that takes you to Hellfire Pass itself, and a memorial to the fallen laborers offers spectacular views of the hill. 5. Erawan National Park. Founded in 1975, this wonderful national park is located around an hour's drive from Kanchanaburi and is full of lovely waterfalls, gloomy caves, and stunning scenery. Named after the three-headed white elephant that is an important figure in Hindu mythology, Erawan's main draw is its 7 incredible waterfalls, which each have their own look and feel. Pouring over limestone cliffs, the falls are absolutely beautiful and the turquoise pools around them stand out delightfully against the dense forest lining their shores. With so much nature and wildlife on offer, exploring Erawan's sites makes for a great day trip. 4. Thailand-Burma Railway Center. Dedicated to the victims who helped build the Death Railway, this fantastic, interactive museum will really help you come to grips with what went on in Kanchanaburi during the Second World War. A harrowing experience, the exhibitions are very well done and will take you right from the railway's conception up to the aftermaths of the war. Full of facts and figures, interesting displays and moving letters from the prisoners themselves, the Thailand-Burma Railway Center is an informative and educational yet sobering place to visit. 3. Thai-Burma Railway. While the Thai-Burma Railway was party to such tragic scenes and brutality during the Second World War, nowadays, it is an absolutely lovely stretch of railway to travel along and is well worth visiting when in Kanchanaburi. Hugging the mountainside, the train passes alongside rivers and forests and you can see rice fields and small villages as you pass by on the rickety rails to Nam Tak. A 2-hour train memorable journey, you can download an audio guide that tells you the story of the Death Railway and watch the world go by as you learn about the history of the place. 2. Kanchanaburi War Cemetery. Established in 1956, this cemetery houses the graves of innumerable prisoners of war who were captured by the Japanese and forced to build the Burma Railway during the Second World War. Such was the brutality and cruelty meted out to those building the railway. It soon became known as the Death Railway, as so many people died building it. A moving place to visit, the Kanchanaburi War Cemetery is very well maintained, and it is quite shocking to see the row upon row of graves stretching away before you. While not everyone's idea of a great day out is visiting a cemetery, it is one of the main tourist attractions in Kanchanaburi and will help you to understand the sheer scale of the atrocities that were committed here. 1. Bridge over the River Kwai. Immortalized in both books and film, this bridge is renowned throughout the world and is the most famous stretch of the Thailand-Burma Railway. Very difficult to build due to the surrounding terrain, prisoners of war and slaves were forced to work on its construction. Over half of them died due to the horrendous conditions. While the bridge's harrowing past is very much still present in the war memorials, museums, and monuments around Kanchanaburi, its setting is still beautiful to behold. It spans the scenic Mae Klong River. You can cross the bridge on foot on the central steel-plated walkway, though it's still in use. Just stand in a safety point if a train appears. A must-see when in Kanchanaburi: watch the bridge on the River Kwai before going to really understand why it is such an important historic site.